These cases are incredibly traumatic, and it's incredibly traumatic to have to relive that not once but twice. And for most rape victims, we have to remember that there was a retelling of their story multiple times before they got to the stand. And so not only is that traumatic, but in this case, I want to point out that this victim did everything that we encourage women to do. She had a rape kit done very, very quickly. She's done everything correctly. She went to the police. And so I think to have a jury say to her the first time, we're just not sure we believe you, that also has to be just incredibly damaging. There's no upside for victims when they have to repeatedly tell their story. You know, it's very hard for me to be objective, and I think you saw me shaking my head throughout the defense's opening statements. From what I can distill, right now the defense is saying that the prosecution just can't prove their case. They're not even saying he didn't have sex with this woman. And they seem to be infusing a little bit of doubt in saying, oh, she was drunk. She had just slept with his friend. And I think that leads to a larger conversation about consent, because the media has picked up and run with that. And I just want to say, morally and not legally, without my lawyer hat actually on, and I can't believe we're having this conversation in 2025, consent is very clear. There's not a reasonable person standard when it comes to consent. You have it or you don't. Consent cannot be transferred. If a woman is so drunk she can't form a coherent sentence, you do not have consent. Just because she consented to having sex with your friend, she did not consent to having sex with you. And I think that the law is very clear about that. But I think that what we see this defense attorney doing is trying to infuse that idea into the jury's mind subconsciously.
What say you, Mr. Foreperson, as to indictment number 2024-00244, offense 001, rape? Is the defendant not guilty or guilty?
Guilty. Terrence Crosbie will be back in court this morning to be sentenced. He's trending this morning for some social media posts that he made before his rape conviction. Now, these were not allowed in the trial.
I absolutely agree with John. This had no place in the trial, and I definitely think that was the right ruling of the court. But I will note that I think his attitude was on full display for the jury as well, because if you watch his cross-examination by the prosecution, she was asking him about rape, and he said, well, what's your definition of rape? I think he showed who he was, and I think that also bore fruit within the victim's own testimony of what he said. You know, you'll like this. That guy's a loser. He can't give you what I can give.
I imagine that this is going to be seen as perhaps a 5 to 7 on the guidelines in terms of years, that is. We would likely be asking for something along the lines of 2 to 4 or 3 to 5.
What would be most appropriate in terms of a sentence for this rapist?
Sure. I think the answer is I don't know. But I think more importantly is, what is the victim going to say in her victim impact statement, and what does she want? And what, frankly, is his response going to be? What is he going to say when he has the opportunity to, again, address his guilty verdict? But I think what he has shown us is that he has no remorse. And unless we see that, I would like to see a higher sentencing as well.